All right. Welcome back to Eyes Open Media. And I did tell you guys on the main channel 365 that I was going to do a video about why we don't need an RV, right? We don't need an RV. I did talk about this on the 365 Facebook page. And as you guys can see, the pictures of the Iraqi dinar and different pictures of it, the 25,000 note, the 5,000, 10,000 note, the 100 note, the 50 note that got, taken out. I think they're going to give us, I think they're going to do a new 50 with security features. Post, once they give us Mosul, we'll see all those lower notes that Alak promised. The CBI governor, Alak, he promised that the lower notes would be out in January because he thought Mosul would be completed, as he was told by the president and by Barack Obama that Mosul was going to be completed at the end of the year. And matter of fact, Barack Obama told us that Mosul would be completed in September, and but then something happened. We didn't. Something got delayed, or they chose to delay it. And then Barack Obama came out and said, "Well, it looks like we're going to be completed in the end of the year." Hillary Clinton, on her campaign trail and her debates with Donald Trump, also said that it should be completed by the end of the year, 2016. And then Donald Trump said, "You know what? Why are we continuing to talk about this? Why would they just do it, right?" And that's what I was always been saying. I said, "Why are they continuing to say this is going to be completed? This is going to be completed, and just go ahead and do it? We don't talk, we just do it, right? The U.S. military don't talk, we just do, right?" So it was kind of interesting. And then all of a sudden, a body tells the government, the military people to hold off for 2 weeks. And at that point, we knew that it wasn't going to. That's when the talks became about, wait a minute, is a body not going to allow President Obama to receive this revaluation? And we found out that that's exactly what happened. A body, delayed the Eastern Mosul for 2 weeks, and that put a big hold on. And now look what we're going through right now. Western Mosul has started a little bit, but it's been a 2 weeks holdout before the full operation has begun. And and to make it even worse, they did an international marathon today in Baghdad, which required a bunch of security people to come away from Western Mosul. And as soon as that marathon was completed, they got in their vehicles, and they started to head. Some of the military people started to head towards South Mosul, Southwest Mosul, because they're going to be coming in through the southwest area. So we know that they're going to be coming through the north, because they're already doing that now with the PMU and to Sinjar and to Telahar West. And now we have confirmation that they're coming through southwest Mosul as well. So that's good news. That's two. I want to see them come. I want to see them go around and come through the western part of Mosul as well. And that will be three areas, and maybe even come through the right connector. And then everybody just meet right in the center. Maybe around the oil refineries, or maybe, I don't know. But anyway, so why don't we need an RV, right? Because this is what everybody, where's the RV? Where's the RV? Why don't they just give us the RV, right? But remember, we don't really need an RV. We don't need an RV. We just need them to remove the restrictions. You know what I mean? So we need them to remove all restrictions from the currency, and I believe they've already done it. So I believe they already done it. I believe they are. That's one of the reasons why they keep telling you that the rate inside country is going up in value, right? They keep telling us in articles that the dollar is devaluing inside the country, and the dinar is rising inside the country. We've had about, what, 20 articles on that in the last 2 months, so something's going on inside the country they're not telling us about, which is kind of unfair, because if you're going to do something with your currency, the world should know about it. You shouldn't be able to hide it. And the reason why they're hiding it because they don't have Musul yet. They should have already had Musul. Privately they have Musul, but publicly they don't have Musul, so they're just hiding it. But you shouldn't be able to do that. Okay, it's a national currency. It's a national currency. If any other country was doing something like that, they would be slapped so hard. Okay, with the fact that the IMF and the World Bank and the United Nations are so connected to this, they're helping them hide this from the world until they're ready until Western Musul is given. But like I said before, we don't need a revaluation. We don't need a rate to just pop out of thin air and say, hey, they could put it at 1182, 1184, and as long as they announce to the world that they are back on the international stage. Chapter 7 is released. Article 8 is given, and there's no restrictions throughout the whole country. Okay, that's what we want to hear. Okay, and I think we're going to hear that right after Western Musul is given, because of the national reconciliation that they're going to launch. And that national reconciliation is basically everything that the country holds going back into an international stage on a daily basis with no restrictions removed. And then Iran even made it clear that Iraq, right after Western Musul, Iraq will follow their constitution strictly. And that was key, because they're not following their constitution, right? So the last 13 years, they're not following their constitution. Their constitution tells them that they must be on an international stage, participating in the world global markets, because they're rich in oil, right? They're top 5 in every oil category, and so they do the world. They do the world how you say the word, a non-justice, I guess. When they're not participating in international globe on daily tradings and forex and things of that nature, because they hold so much oil. Okay, when they're on the program rate and they're begging the world for money, it's bleeding the world of money. This is why the world's going through a lot of chaos and a lot of debt, is because countries like Iraq are cheating. Countries like Iraq are on a program rate instead of their real rate, and they're begging for money, and the IMF and the World Bank and the United Nations have to continue to give these people money so they won't collapse. And so that is just destroying basically the Western world, because the Eastern world isn't doing nothing like this. And the thing is, somebody will probably say, well, the Eastern world didn't set up the BRICS until now. Yeah, but the BRICS aren't helping like that either. The BRICS aren't helping Iraq. You know what I mean? Like, when have you seen the BRICS give $100 million to Iraq or anything like that? You know what I mean? They're not helping. So we have to understand that the Eastern world just set up the BRICS, right? They just set that up recently. So they and the AIIB bank just got set up. They're getting ready for the future. They're getting ready for the collapse of the Western world. You know what I mean? So as we saw the BRICS come together, and we saw the AIIB come together, we saw the BRICS Bank come together. Guess what they're doing? They're copying the Western world. Why are they doing that? Because they understand that the Western world is about to collapse. You know what I mean? So they're making sure that they're set up and they're ready to go with their own types of World Banks and IMF and United Nations, right? So they're gonna have the BRICS, the BRICS nation. They're gonna have the BRICS Bank, and they're gonna have the AIIB. And so that's going to be able to hold the world down when the United Nations and the IMF shuts down and the World Bank go bankrupt, you know what I mean, from the Western world collapse. And so they've set themselves up for the future, okay? So they're not playing around. And then to make it even more credible, the Eastern world is teaching their citizens about buying gold and silver and Bitcoin, and the Western world is not. There's maybe one person on the internet, I mean, one person on mainstream media telling people to buy gold, and that's Peter Schiff. And I told you guys to pray about him, because I did see a dream about them trying to take him out, and I canceled that dream immediately, and I told you guys to pray for him, because he's the only one talking about buying gold, right? and they hate his guts, right? And so and he has his own company, Shift Gold, and remember, he's also a part of Gold Money. Okay, remember BitGold that we used to have, and now our accounts are now, we still have it, but our accounts are now Gold Money. You know what I mean? So you can still sign up. You can still go to bitgold.com and it'll just switch you over to gold money. So our accounts are now in gold money, and we have a joint venture deal with Shift Gold. So that's awesome, right? So but the Western world is not talking about gold. They don't care about Bitcoin. They don't care about silver. They don't care about anything. They want you to use a euro and a dollar, which are dying, and it doesn't matter about the price. I'm talking about inside. See, these public stuff that you guys see are not real. Everything you're seeing with your eyes is not real. Okay, all the things you see on the media is not real. Okay, it's what's going on in the inside. The dollar is dead on the inside, but they're not showing you that on the outside yet, and they will. They have a date, they have a time frame, and they know when. Sometimes it gets delayed because people like Donald Trump gets in the office, and that delays some things for the elites, and they get very angry and they start to pay off people to protest. You see what I'm saying? So that's how the elites are angry when we see paid members going out there to do protests. But they have dates for everything, right? They have dates for when things are going to collapse, when things are going to crash, or when things are going to be gone. When the Dow's going to start to crash. You know what I mean? And I know, but people can fight it as well. They have dates set, but also people can fight it as well. People that are against the New World Order and the elites can fight it as well. And so what we have here for the dinar, we have dates that were set. Many dates that were set. We had a date set for by Dr. Shabibi, and as a CBI governor at that time, and he was about to make this thing happen to the world. He announced it, that it was going down, and what happened? The New World Order comes in with with their puppet Maliki, and he shuts the whole central bank government and the whole entire economy of Iraq gets shut down for a whole week. And that just destroyed everything, right? So we know that there's been several dates set for this thing to happen, and it never happened. Okay, and so that's where people can come in and say, well, you're this and you're that, and they can call you all types of names, but they won't tell you that the central bank governor, Dr. Shabibi, announced it to the world that it was going to happen. They won't tell people about that, but they will tell you that you're this, you're that, you're that. They'll call you all types of names because they're angry that it hasn't happened yet, right? Inside, they're secretly angry it hasn't happened yet, so they're gonna tell everybody it's never going to happen, because they thought it was going to happen when Dr. Shabibi made his announcement, and it didn't happen, and they probably went through the name calling and all the stuff, and so now they're turning around and doing it to everybody else, right? Which is sad, because you don't fight evil with evil, right? You fight evil with good. When people talk about you and say things about you and try to slander you, you don't go at them. You just keep positive, and you bring positive results, and when people see your resume, it might have that one slander on there, or one or two slanders, but it's got thousands of positive results. You know what I mean? So for this video, we don't need an RV. We just need them to to announce to the world that all restrictions have been removed, and that's going to come from the National Reconciliation Settlement. Okay, it's going to remove all restrictions from every aspect of Iraq, and it's going to set them up. They can set a rate if they want to. They removed the auction rate for a purpose, and they've also not updated the CBI site for a purpose. So it looks like they're going to introduce a new rate with the new lower notes, but they don't have to. They can come out at 1182, and I'll be happy, because I know that it's not going to stay there, because it's now free floating. So if it's 1182, that's what they want to come out at, and it's free floating, let's go, because it's gonna rise quickly, right? Because everybody knows the true value of the IQD. It's around 30 cents to $3, right? Anywhere between 30 cents to $3 is where the IQD is supposed to be at. Okay, and then you compare it to the Arab nations that are around them, and you know what I mean, except for Iran, because they're in sanctions. Then you see the value, you see the real value. And then Iraq has way more wealth, way more reserves, and way more oil than everybody else. That just tells you their true value, right? So even if it comes out 1182, I don't care. People are gonna rush and grab some more, okay, because they know it's not gonna stay there. It's gonna move up immediately as soon as they remove all restrictions. So that's all good. So don't worry about an RV. Don't worry about none of that stuff. We'll just worry about Western Mosul. When we get it done and they launch that national reconciliation, it's game on. That thing is going to rise regardless if it comes out 1182 or not. Okay, but it looks like they have a rate set because they removed the auction rate. So that's it for me. Eyes open. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace out. God bless. Shalom. Happy Sabbath.